Well, Xoli, I've got the Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele, and he's somebody who has continuously said that he can't make any comments on that cabinet reshuffle. But perhaps then, Mr. Gungubele, you can say something about whether or not we can anticipate an announcement of a state of disaster on the country's energy crisis. The ANC Lekgotla was followed by the cabinet Lekgotla. This is a very important issue that I think South Africans would want to know as a matter of urgency.
Good afternoon, Ziyanda. Good afternoon to South Africans. The President will say something about it.
But the President saying something is not enough, isn't it? You know, even going into last year's State of the Nation address, there was a feeling of somewhat of despondency from South Africans, probably worse now, the most amount of load shedding we've had ever. I don't think that can be an appropriate thing to just say the President will say something.
Unless, Ziyanda, you're asking me to do State of the Nation address, all I'm saying to South Africans, they are awaiting the President at 19 to speak, and the President will speak, and he will speak sensibly about it. It will be in line with an intention to deal with the crisis.
What kind of inputs have you made towards that Cabinet Lekgotla?
To the Cabinet Lekgotla? Yes. No, we've made inputs with regard to all aspects that translate in programs which have got a potential to make difference in the lives of South Africans, whether it's health, whatever, whether it's infrastructure and so on.
8 million rand is the amount that Moloto Mothapo bandied about earlier on today during a briefing about the cost of the State of the Nation, but said that it could possibly be reconfigured. To those South Africans who believe that such money can also be redirected elsewhere, what would you say?
Imagine, Ziyanda, if you didn't have the State of the Nation address, all what you see were trucks and graders in your street, all what you see was sewage leaking, no one gave on regular basis account of those things. Imagine the uncertainty that would be there. All I'm saying is that you have to measure the cost of not doing it.
But, I mean, you don't need a red carpet and the pomp and ceremony, as many have said, to be able to speak to the nation. The President did that during the coronavirus, where he just sit and speak to the nation. What's the difference?
Well, each country has got its own cultures, Ziyanda. Each country has got its own decorum in doing things. And all those things get honor depending on how they are posed. I'll tell you, you will laugh, you may not believe what I'm going to tell you. When I became an MP for the first time, I used to drive an RKS 995T, a Sentra. Immediately I became an MP, I continued driving that car to meetings. South Africans said, in you we want to see an MP. You can't be coming with this car. The point I'm trying to make, everything that gets done, there's a gadget and there's a software. And then this is a chosen software by South Africans.
However, the timing, when you were driving that Sentra, maybe the mood of the country was different. Maybe the economy was in a better place. Maybe society was better. No sewage leaking everywhere when you look at municipalities. Timing, optics?
I agree with you. At any given time, conditions of the moment determine attitudes towards different things. For instance, I was talking to Braden now about state-owned enterprises, people saying other countries no longer have that. But I'm saying what people want is not who own the state-owned enterprise, it's what is the value add. So the point I'm trying to make, I agree with you, conditions determine, but at least South Africans South Africans in a demonstrable way have not shown rejection of this event. In all the interviews that we have come across, South Africans always look forward, because this event is an event where they have got opportunity to listen comprehensively on the State of the Nation from the head of the state they would have elected at any given point in time.
There is a sense, however, that whatever the president outlines this evening, the cabinet that he has may not be a lean, mean machine that is necessary to execute the kind of plan. So diagnosis and policy direction, not necessarily the issue, but the people involved, in particular the relationship of cabinet ministers and this age-old thing that is believed that, you know, as departments you work in silos. What would you say to those where there's a serious trust deficit, Minister, that this cabinet works well together and actually is moving in the same direction?
Again, if we didn't have energy crisis, if we didn't have unemployment, if we didn't have hunger, we didn't have a number of these things, this debate would have been a secondary debate. I think the challenge that the president appreciates this year in particular, is that what counts is the difference we're going to make in the lives of people. So knowing how we're fared up to this point and how the president wants to lead us to fare differently will determine how he organizes his machinery. And that is the forte of the president.
A president who still has the Phala Phala cloud hanging over his head. Disruptions are on the horizon if what the EFF says is anything to go by. There are still investigations being conducted on the president regarding that robbery. The right face?
The president who has subjected himself to the laws of this country. The laws of this country, whether it's court, whether it's Hawks, a number of them have not actually made a finding against the president. By the way, there's not even a single one, including the Section 89, because Section 89 said we need particular and particular that. Because we need particular that, question remains. So we've got a president who has committed himself to all the processes of the country where no finding has been made against him.
Not yet, just yet, Minister.
No finding has been made. What do you call yet? But as a matter of fact, there is no fighting.
All right, Mondli Gungubele. Before I let you go, the president was wearing local for the last 2 years. Are you wearing local tonight?
I'm not very good in assessing my clothing, whether it's local or not.
Terrible. That's a terrible thing to say.
I'm going to learn about that.
Let's hope in 2020.
And I support local, by the way. If by any accident I find this afternoon, because now you have conscientized me, because I'm fighting.
Your president conscientized you, not me. He said it in the last two State of the Nation addresses.
When I say conscientized, you've reminded me about my responsibility. The point I'm making, if I find that I'm not in a good position, I'll do something about it. And I'm encouraging people to wear local.
Right, Mondli Gungubele, Minister in the Presidency there, Koli. Several issues that he's touching on. So basically the issues that they expect to arise in particular regarding the disruptions that the EFF say that they are going to go ahead with. Well, the President has not yet been charged and he is fully aware of what he needs to tell South Africans come 7 o'clock this evening.